welcome back to the Safest channel, and today we'll be doing a tricky question of BST which will really check whether you have understood recursion properly or not, and BST as well. So let's look at the question. So this is the question given to us. We are given a BST and we are given an integer k. We have to find the kth smallest element in the BST using order of one extra space. So we are given that we can't use any extra space. So we can't go like we are going to store the entire tree in a vector, in an array, in any sorted structure, and then we are going to make sure that okay, I have to just return the kth element. Can't do that. We can't use any extra space. Okay. We have to return the kth smallest element. Now let's see what does that mean. Here see k was 2, so we have to return the second smallest element. Here the smallest one is 1, the second smallest is 2. Here we have to return the fifth smallest element, but since there are only 3 elements, we are returning -1. So this is another case. Now if you are in an interview, you have to ask this question. What if the k that is given to us is more than the number of nodes that are already present? You have to think of these cases in an interview yourself. Nobody is going to come and tell you that if this is the case, you have to do this. Interviewers will purposely not tell you these cases. They want you to come and ask them that okay, if the k value is bigger than the number of nodes, what am I supposed to do? You are supposed to return -1. Okay. Now let's see how can we solve the question. Suppose this is the BST that we have and we have to find the kth smallest element. Now we know that the smallest element in the BST is the leftmost element, right? So we come here, here. This is the leftmost element. Now this is where we have to start counting. So this is the first smallest element. Now this is the second smallest element. This is the third smallest element. This is the fourth smallest element, right? But here the trick is that we have to first go down into recursion, find the leftmost tree and then start counting. And if you can understand this part of recursion, how can we write the code? You have actually understood the entire question. See, what is the tricky part over here? We have to first traverse to the leftmost part. Okay? And then what will we do? We will have a counter with us. See, our counter value initially is 0. When we come to the leftmost part, we will change the counter to 1 because we have found one node. If this node is, suppose the counter is equal to k, we have found a node, we can just return it. Now what happens is this is the leftmost tree. There is no element that is smaller than this, so the counter became 1. We have to check is there any right element that it has. If that was the case, then that would have been the second one, right? If that is not the case, we have to go back in a recursive tree, and from where we came, that is when we are going to increase a counter value to 2. Again, we should check the right of this. So in short, what are we doing? We are first going down the left subtree, then we are increasing the counter value, then we are going back. Initially we were coming down, right? And then after this what we are doing, while going back we are checking this value. First we are checking the left one, then we are checking the node itself, and then we are checking the root one, right? So this is sort of pre-order reversal that we are doing. So we have to understand how can we write the recursive code over here. When we start writing, it should be clear. But if you really understand recursion only, then you will be able to convert this into code. And that is why it is very, very important to understand recursion in trees. Let's see whether we can do it or not. Now this is the function for which we have to write the code. We are given the root of the tree and then we are given the value k. We have to return the kth smallest element. Note that we have to return an integer value over here. Why is that? See, if the node is not present, then we have to return -1. Okay. So as we discussed, we need a counter, right, to maintain, okay, when we traverse through the tree, we should have a counter over here. So I am putting the initial counter value as 0. See here, I cannot use the same recursive function, and why is that? Because I need to deal with the counter value. So I need a new recursive function, okay? And in the new recursive function, I am going to call it helper. What all things am I going to pass? I am going to pass the root and the k value that was already there. But with that, I am also going to pass the counter. Now here's the tricky part. If you notice here, I am passing counter by reference. Why am I doing that? Because I want the counter value to reflect even when I am changing the function value. See, if I pass it by value, what is going to happen? Every time this recursive function is called, a copy will be created and we are going to be dealing with the copy. But once I am out of the recursive function, the changes are not going to get reflected. And this is a very important point of recursion. We have to understand that as we move through the functions, as the function values are changing, the parameters that are being passed are changing, we want the counter value that is being passed to remain same. We don't want it to reset every time we go back. It has to get reflected when we go back from the recursive call. So here this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to call the helper function. I'm going to pass the root value. I'm going to pass the k value and I'm going to pass the counter value. See here, I had to make an integer variable counter because I have to pass it by reference. I just can't pass 0 like this because I have to deal with a variable. So I have created a variable over here. Now let's talk about the return value over here. We have to return an integer. So what should be returning from our recursive function? Should we be returning integer itself like this? So whatever integer we return, we could have just returned that, right? But when exactly are we returning an integer? Here the question is asked us to return integer instead of node. Why? Because we have to return -1 when the k value is bigger than the number of nodes. Now one way of doing that is that we return node star. And what am I going to do? I am going to put the return value in this node and I am going to return that if the node value is present, if it is not null, then I am going to pass the node ka data, otherwise I am going to pass -1. There can definitely be more ways to handle this, but this is the most straightforward. Here what we are going to do in the helper function, we are not going to care about this -1 or not. We are just going to make sure that okay, if our counter value reaches k, then we are just going to return the value. If it doesn't return, we are just going to return null as usual. We are not going to handle that case at all. Here we are going to check that okay, if the value that is returned to us is in fact not null, then only we are going to return the data, otherwise we are going to return -1. Let's start writing the helper function. What is the first condition that we always think of in three questions? Think about it. We had discussed this in the last question also. First condition that we should always think about is what if the root value is null? What happens if the root value is null? Then we already have a check over here. We can just return it as it is. We are just making sure that we are not referencing a null value and we are not leading to any crash, and that is why we are adding this. That if the root value is not there, then we just return null from here itself and we are going to return the -1 from here. Now what is the first thing that we have to do? We have to go to the leftmost node, right? So in order to do that, I am going to keep calling the recursive function in the left part, and then I'm going to pass the k value, I'm going to pass the count. I am not going to make any changes to the counter value till I reach the leftmost value, okay? And once I reach there, what am I going to do? I'm going to do counter plus plus. And after increasing the value of the counter, I'm going to check that if the counter value became the value that I'm looking for, then what I'm going to do? I'm going to return the node that I'm dealing with, right? So I'm going to return node from here. And if that is not the case, then that is when I'm going to call the right subtree. So now I'm going to call the right subtree. Okay. If we have done enough three questions, this should be fairly simple for you till now. But if not, let's understand it, why it is happening. Try run it, take a pen and paper and see what the values that are being passed. So by this line, we are making sure that we have traversed to the leftmost node. Once we reach over there, we start incrementing the values. And when we go back, we check that okay, if the k value we have found, then we are going to return it. If we have still not found, then we go to the right subtree. After traversing to all the left subtrees, because those are the smaller ones, that is when we are increasing the counter and then we are going to the right subtree. Now, here's the catch. When we are going in the left subtree, it is not necessary that okay, we have to traverse back to the root. See, let me talk about this. Let me show it to you in the diagram. So in the diagram, we start from here, okay? Then we make a recursive call, we come over here. We make a recursive call, come over here. We make a recursive call, we come over here. Then we increment the counter value to 1. We go back. We increment the k value to 2. Now suppose k value was 2 itself, okay? And the counter value became 2. So I should return this answer itself, okay? But I have to add this check. On the way back, it might happen that before I reach the root itself, I found the answer. So I have to make sure that any point when I am calling the subproblem, when I am calling the recursive function, if I am getting the answer, if I am reaching the answer, then I have to return it. Okay, so let's add that check. So for that, what do we have to do? We have to return the node over here also. So every time I am calling for the left subtree, I have to check. Okay, and if I have found the answer, if it is not null, so here also in the main function, how am I checking that if the node value is not null, I am returning that, right? So here also I have to check that if node value is there, then I am going to just return the node value. If it is not there, only then I have to increment the counter value. I have to check whether this has happened or not. Otherwise, what I have to do, I have to just return whatever my right subtree returns. Now you must be thinking that what if this returns null? It's fine because here we have already added the check, right? So I want you to try and think about it that why this is working. See here, in the left subtree, if we find the answer, we have to return it. If we have not found it in the left subtree, we have to increment the counter value. See, while understanding recursion, you have to assume that you already have answer to a subproblem. So here our subproblem is the left subtree, right? So here if we have answer to it, we will return it. If we don't have answer to it, we have to deal how we have to increment the counter value and then go to the right subtree. And that will happen again and again for the left subtree, for the right subtree, and it will happen by itself. Try running it. You will start looking at the recursion in a new way itself. This is a very good question for recursion. And there is a similar question which is kth largest element in BST. It is a very similar code. There, instead of first traversing to the left subtree, we should be traversing to the right subtree. Then after traversing to the rightmost node, we are going to start incrementing the counter value, and then after visiting the right subtree, we are going to visit the left subtree. So here it is just going to look like first root ka right and then root ka left. So that is all that we have to do. I have added both the links in the description. Do check it out. Do practice that question yourself. I want you to come and tell me tomorrow that you have practiced it. This is a very similar question, and this is a very good question. You need to practice it. Let's discuss the time complexities. Coming to the time and the space complexity. So here the expected time complexity is order of n, where n is the number of nodes. Why is it order of n? Because in worst case, we might be going through the entire tree. We might be visiting all the nodes, increasing the counter, but what happened that the k value is actually greater than the number of nodes that we have, and then we end up returning -1. So that is the worst case. So expected time complexity order of n. We are not using any extra space, so auxiliary space order of 1. But what is the recursive space that we are using? In worst case, we are either going to the left subtree or right subtree. So it will be order of height of the tree, right? Why is that? Because we will be going down one branch. So when we go down a branch, in the worst case, we are going to end up taking the recursive space of order of height. I hope you liked the video. I hope this was very clear. If you have any doubts, let me know. Let's do both the questions in the description. And do show up tomorrow. We are going to do another interesting question. See you.